Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all having a wonderful day and a wonderful start to the new year. This video is probably not going to be the first one that comes out in 2024, but I'm filming this right before Christmas, so I'm in a little bit more of the new year mindset. And because of that, I want to take a look back at some of my old coordinates and talk about my favorite Lolita Fashion coordinates from every year that I have been in the fashion, which also requires me to clear up one thing. I've been saying since the beginning of my channel that I started wearing Lolita in 2017, but looking back at my photos for this video, I realized that's actually a mistake. I started wearing Lolita in 2018. I just started shopping around and thinking about it in 2017. So I've been wearing the fashion for like 5 years now, even though I feel like I've been saying I've been in the fashion for 5 years for like 3 years, is because I had made a mistake. But with that all cleared up, let's start in 2018 with my favorite coordinate for that year, which is this lovely Christmas time coord that I wore, which, like I just said, was for a Christmas meetup with my comm. Now, this dress actually was not mine. I borrowed it from my friend Charlie, who very graciously lent it to me, because at the time I didn't really have a lot of options for coordinates. I think I maybe had 2 or 3 dresses at this point, and I felt like I wanted something that was on like the Christmas theme a bit. I think that I had basically worn all of my possible coordinates that I like already to meetups or like the local anime con, so I felt like I wanted to show up in something new. Now, all of the other items at the time, I think except for the beret, which is like a beige gold-ish beret, were mine. So I did still kind of like decide on this coordinate myself. And to be honest, I just don't have a lot of options from this year that are like really good coordinates or ones that I could really say I like. They're just very baby's first coordinate. But the reason that this one is like more my favorite is because I feel like it's the best put together. It's the most cohesive, and I feel like all of the items really do make sense together instead of just looking like I threw whatever I had on and hoped it would work out. Like, for example, the socks work really well with the dress. The socks have like a bunny and picnic theme, and that is kind of the same theme that's going on with the Innocent World dress. I think that this blouse also works pretty well for a sort of swastic, mature, sweet coordinate, and it was very nice for like a Christmas coord because I feel like the loose sleeves and the high collar really work well for winter, but something a bit more dressy. And it's nice that I have like the beret again for like the Christmassy theme, but I added the like red head bow to match the red shoes. I think that's a cute detail, and I love when Lolitas wear a head bow with a beret. It isn't really a perfect coord by any means. I don't really think the wig works super well here, especially because I don't think I'd even cut the bangs at this point. Also, the shoes I feel like are really bright red, and I don't necessarily think that classic tea parties work with this coordinate. Maybe something with a bit more heel and a bit darker would have worked better, but that is literally the only pair of red shoes I had at the time. Overall though, I still think it's a pretty cute coordinate. It's obviously not reflective of my personal style, especially as it is now, but it was my favorite coordinate of that year because it was just the best put together one. For 2019, this is my favorite coordinate, and actually this is one of my favorite coordinates of like all time that I've done. I find that so funny how with Lolita, you can have like such an awkward like beginning baby steps phase one year, and then the next year you make like one of your all-time favorite coordinates. But that's how it goes, you know. Lolita takes a while to acquire and collect. Yeah, it took me at least a year to build a coordinate that I could really feel like was my own and that I really loved, and this is really like the first one that I remember feeling like, oh, okay, this is exactly what I want to look like in Lolita fashion. I think this was also my first big coordinate with Twinkle Mermaid, like one I had really thought about and planned in advance, and obviously it's a very special piece to have, so that really adds to like this one being my favorite. I think all the details just work really well here. I was wearing a more busy blouse and tights with a pattern, so I added the overskirt to bring like a modern Lolita element to the otherwise more old school sweet dress because Twinkle Mermaid is from 2006. And then I feel like the fact that the shoes have the straps and everything, all again, like that's more detailed than just a pair of tea parties, so I feel like it balances out the rest of the elements too. And I really like that I wore wrist cuffs with the bracelets because I feel like wrist cuffs work just so well for like a more 2010s OTT suite inspired thing. Like they really bring it back to that era because I feel like wrist cuffs are not as popular now. I really like wearing wrist cuffs, so I'm just glad I made that choice here. I feel like with only bracelets, my wrists would have looked a bit bare. And of course, I'm wearing one of my favorite headpieces ever, which is the Mermaid Symphony shell-shaped canetsier, so I love it so much. I feel like what also helps with this coordinate is that I had just gotten my hair cut, so like this is my first time wearing Lolita with bangs. I really felt like I was debuting a fresh new look, and it kind of added to the enjoyment of this coordinate. Like I said, this is still one of my favorite coordinates to this day. I feel like all the colors are balanced so well, all the details really work well together, and it's just such a special coordinate to me. It's my favorite coordinate that I've ever done with Twinkle Mermaid to this day. It's like I can't repeat the magic somehow. I have most of these pieces except for the shoes because they fell apart, and the blouse because it's a bit uncomfortable, but to be honest, I kind of regret selling it because I told myself, well, it's kind of uncomfortable, I'm gonna sell it and buy a new Saks blouse, but like I sold it in 2020 or something, and I still have not found a Saks Peter Pan collar blouse. Like the sleeves were a bit itchy, but you know, I wasn't even gonna wear it that often, so maybe I should have kept it. I don't know. So 2020 actually was a pretty good year for Lolita for me. Not really for much else, pandemic and all. Because I was staying home and because I didn't really have as much to do, I was dressing up more and experimenting more. When I did go out wearing Lolita, it felt like a more rare opportunity. So I like really decided to do something different from all of my other coords each time. I also started just getting more pieces this year and like refining my wish list, and I found out about shopping from Japanese secondhand websites this year. So a lot of new good stuff made its way into my closet. I was really in the mood for experimenting. It was going very well. So I had a lot of good options from 2020 to choose from, but I ended up picking this Aqua Princess coordinate as my favorite. It's the Mint Aqua Princess, which I don't have anymore. I have the pink one now. This coordinate is really cute. I feel like it has a lot of elements that I still love to this day, like the cardigan, and again the wrist cuff stacked with bracelets. And I really like these boots. I don't really wear them much because they're a bit hard to walk in, but I love these over the knees from AP. I really love those simple lace topped over the knees. And I just feel like the bright mint looks really cute with the pink in this coordinate. And it's well balanced. I like how the cardigan has white polka dots, and I balance that out with the white OTKs. All of the bows on my head are really fun. It's like I rarely do OTT coordinates without a wig, because when I'm gonna wear something OTT, I like throw my Priscilla headpieces on because I hate styling my hair. But it's cute that I did something more OTT with just my natural hair for this coordinate. Yeah, I really like this cord. I felt really confident in it. My only nitpick is that like I don't think I actually needed all of those bracelets. Like I have a multicolor bracelet, which I'm actually wearing right now, this rainbow one, and I don't think it's necessary for this cord because like I don't have that rainbow thing anywhere. Like it is a bit over accessorized. Other than the bracelets, I also have like a choker and a necklace, and I have a brooch, and I don't know if I like needed the second necklace, and that brooch I wore with everything, but I don't know if I needed it. I also have a few like extra bows that you can't really see well here anyway that I don't think I needed, but the pink bow in the front and the big head bow and the mint bow I think would have been enough. Just nitpicks at this point though. And also the mint bow was like the waist bow from the dress, but it was the only mint bow I had at the time. I think it works though. So for 2021 onwards, I do have to admit I wasn't able to pick out a single coordinate for every year. So I did pick out two, and mostly because I feel like they're pretty different and I like them for different reasons. But for 2021, the first one that I have is this mint and lavender coordinate with jewelry jelly. I really like this coordinate because it was the first time that I wore mint and lavender together, and that's a color scheme I really like. After being in the fashion since 2018, I hadn't really branched out of like Saks and pink and white and red and pink. Those were like the only colors that I really had in my wardrobe. So by 2021, it was really nice to add a new color, or basically two new colors this year, which were lavender and mint. And I really just love how simple but like effective this jewelry jelly coordinate is. It really goes to show that you don't need like a ton of pieces to make a really cute coordinate. Here I am wearing, you know, a cardigan. I was wearing a turtleneck, but you can barely see it, so pretend it's not there basically. I'm wearing my JSK, I'm wearing my pair of socks, my boots, and then I have my headpiece and a pair of mint hair clips. I actually do have quite a few hair clips on. I have like a star-shaped mint one that I have since lost, and I also have like a mint bow and then like a pink star clip on the side of my head. Again, I think it's really fun doing like more accessorized head like arrangements without a wig. I should probably do that more often again. But yeah, I just think this coordinate is really sweet. It's really cute. I like that it's more inspired by like the 2010s, but like right before the OTT era set in. I would definitely wear this coordinate again. And I haven't worn these particular OTKs in a while, but I probably should. Jewelry Jelly is just a dress that I really, really love. So like the vast majority of the coordinates I've worn with Jewelry Jelly make me really happy. Also, I was like overjoyed to get the Jello hat because it's like something I thought I would never own. So I feel like you can really see my excitement in these pictures. And the other coordinate for 2021 is with Twinkle Mermaid again. I really love this coordinate because it feels super me. It's like, you know, the pink, white, and sax, the like 2010s, very late 2000s inspiration, but also something that's like not too OTT. My sweet spot for Lolita is really that kind of like regular coordinate, but with a couple more accessories, if that makes any sense. Like, I could have just worn the beret, but I added the hair clip, but I didn't add like 5 hair clips. I feel like that probably doesn't make sense to like a normal person, but since it's Lolitas who watch my channel, I hope you understand. Yeah, I just feel like this coordinate is a little bit more mature for my normal styling. Maybe it's like the way I was wearing my hair or the glasses that make me think that, but I really like this coordinate. I also like these boots with Twinkle Mermaid in particular because Twinkle Mermaid is very short, and I feel like these boots being a bit higher helps it not look like I'm entirely leg. I also really like the detail of the choker. It has like a shell on it, so I always love those like really matchy details. Yeah. I love wearing marine prints. Everyone knows that. I wear my marine prints more often now with like very simple pieces or kind of unthemed pieces because I'm wearing them in like daily life, but I love leaning into them and always doing something like very sailor or very marine inspired with all these like shell accessories and stuff. It just makes me really happy. All right, for 2022, the 2 coords that I like the most or put as my favorite are pretty different. And the first one is this OTT coordinate that was very, very much inspired by like old OTT Suite era AP ads with Decoration Dream. And the reason I say that that was my inspiration is because I took that for like using a white blouse and mostly white socks. I feel like that was really popular. It was basically the standard right before colored blouses and really patterned socks became the kind of standard for OTT Suite coordinates. But there's something very nostalgic to me about like a white blouse and white socks. So I wanted to rely on that here for something that was inspired by, you know, a now nostalgic era for me. And I'm wearing these big chunky high heels that I think look really cute. I don't have these heels anymore, or at least if I have them, I don't wear them because they're super uncomfortable. And I also don't have this little mini hat. I love this mini hat, but to be honest, I really just wasn't wearing it and it was a bit too high for my taste. I would like to find one that's flatter, but I feel like its kind of height and awkwardness in it being so high like works kind of well for this particular coordinate. This is one of those coordinates that just goes to show that for an OTT Suite coordinate, you don't necessarily actually need 10,000 accessories. For me, that's more like Deco Lolita, or what used to be called Deco Lolita. I just feel like a lot of OTT, especially Suite coordinates nowadays, are like headpiece, 6 different accessories, necklace, blouse, brooch, another brooch, dress, overskirt, a bow on the overskirt, socks, ankle socks, shoes, things clipped to the shoes. There's so much everywhere, and while I do think it looks cute sometimes, my preference for my own styling is these like more like nostalgic OTT Suite coordinates that are more about like volume and placement instead of just like sheer amount of items. I don't know if that makes any sense. If not, let's just go off of vibes and pretend that we all understand what I'm saying. I also don't have this blouse anymore. I actually just sold it to a friend in my comm because the volume was a bit too much for me. Every time I would wear it, I would try and pose in a way where you kind of would see less volume. The only thing I'm really self-conscious about right now is like my shoulders, the width of my shoulders. So I just don't really like blouses that are extreme in the sleeve volume because it makes me more self-conscious. And the other coordinate for 2022 is much more of a simple one. I wore this to dinner with my girlfriend, and I remember being like, oh, this feels very like on brand for me, and I hadn't worn Aquarium Carnival in a while, so it was just a really nice coordinate that reminded me why I love this dress so much. I still have all of the pieces for this coordinate, and I really like all of them. This beret I default to wearing with some hair clips when I'm feeling really lazy for styling my hair. I'm wearing the same bolero that I'm wearing in this coordinate. It's really comfy, and I feel like it's quite detailed and adds a lot to a coordinate while still being super comfortable for me. And I really love pairing Aquarium Carnival with lavender and pink. I think it just complements the dress really well, especially because the colors are quite desaturated, and I feel like lavender works really well with the dress instead of like going against it. You know, I don't really want to add a ton of bright colors to this dress. I do tend to style Aquarium Carnival more like this, which is like pretty basic Lolita, casual and comfortable, because I tend to wear it when I go to eat a lot because it's full backstring and it's very, very high-waisted, so like it doesn't sit anywhere near my stomach. It's a very comfortable dress for dinner date nights for sure. And now we get to 2023, which is the year that has just gone by, of course. And I have to say, I think overall it was a pretty good year for me, if you will allow me a moment of reflection. I enjoyed pretty much all of the coordinates I wore. There was maybe one or two that looking back, I'm like, you kind of missed the mark on that one, but that's 2 out of like a few dozens of coordinates. I do think I wore Lolita less this year than in 2022. To be honest, I went through a very weird end of the year. I had a period of very, very high anxiety, like I have never experienced before. I became very agoraphobic, actually. It was extremely difficult for me to leave the house, and I was having panic attacks every time I did for about a month or 2 before I really dedicated myself to working on it. And even then, it's not gone completely to this day. So it has been a struggle for sure. It has been very weird because it was onset from no event or anything. Wearing Lolita and being stared at and drawing attention to myself was only worsening my anxiety. So I was defaulting a lot to just shirt and jeans at that point. Also, I went through quite a long period of flare-ups for my chronic illness. I would say like about a month and a half or 2 months, including the period that I was like in Japan, were pretty rough, which meant, again, I was not wearing Lolita a lot. When I have issues with my health, I don't wear Lolita very often because the pressure from like the petticoat, the layering, everything just does tend to flare up and aggravate my symptoms. So I did not wear Lolita as much as I wanted to this year, which sucks, but life goes on and the earth keeps spinning, and that is seriously the least of anyone's concerns. So I'll just wear it more next year, which, you know, I'm excited to make more coords. And it did mean that it was tough to pick out my favorite coordinates from this year, because even though I wore it less, I feel like I'm getting better and better at making coordinates that I love. It's harder to pick out favorites, you know, because it's like, I feel like I really perfected my wardrobe for me. So yeah, I'm really proud of my wardrobe. I'm really proud of my coordinates. But without like further ado, let me present to you one of 2 of my favorite coordinates of 2023. The first of which is this one. I wore Milky Berry to go to a really nice day out, including a museum and everything, which I actually vlogged that day in collaboration with Dodo the Extinct, another Lolita YouTube channel. It was such a nice day. I really want to do like something like that again, like tourist in my city. I really like this coordinate. I love mint and red and pink. I think it looks so cute together, and I just really love all the details of this coordinate. The placement of everything makes me really happy. The brooch on the like waist bow, but also the brooch on the collar, and the wrist cuffs with like the 1 pair of red and pink bracelets I think are perfect to bring in the color details. And then I also have like the little maid head bow with the like strawberry brooch from Pop Parade as hair accessories, and I think it works perfectly with the themes of this dress. I also added a polka dot like red little bow clip to my collar, and I think it also works really well with the sort of like cafe vibes of this. And of course the socks are perfect. They're Strawberry Diner, but they work so well with Milky Berry. It's just very satisfying. This is one of those coordinates where you're like, oh yeah, this one's perfect. no concrete needed. I love this coordinate. I really, really do. I think it's my best Milky Berry coordinate to this day. Sometimes you like make the best coordinate and you're like, damn, I'm never gonna beat this one, but it is motivation to like keep trying to in a way. But sometimes when I have like a favorite coordinate and I'm like, oh, this is like the perfect coordinate with this dress, I just end up rewearing it like 4 or 5 times because it makes me so happy. And lastly, this is a coordinate that I wore pretty recently, a few weeks ago. It is this Toy Fantasy coordinate with my now Perch cardigan, which I freaking love this cardigan now. It was clearly a very good mint year for me. Like I was wearing mint and pink and mint and lavender and mint and yellow a lot. It's just such a fun color and I feel like it's a bit more unique. Not a lot of people wear green or mint in general, so I feel like it immediately stands out and feels fun and different. But yeah, this coordinate was so friggin' comfortable and it has some of my favorite pieces, like my bunny beret is always one of my favorite pieces. This now Perch cardigan is a new favorite of mine, and also like my dreamy pebble collar. I just love having those things. And also my moto shoes. These platforms are basically the only shoes I wear now. They're always my favorite because of the comfort. And of course, Toy Fantasy was one of my dream dresses, so it's a favorite of mine. This coordinate just feels like very, very me. I love putting like a bow or a brooch on my hat like this to complement the colors of my dress. It's simple, but it has kind of like all the accessories you need, you know, hair accessory with the little clip, a necklace, bracelets, ring, check all of the boxes, standard Lolita coordinate with like a pop of fun colors. That's very me. I don't really experiment anymore. I don't really go outside the bounds of like the Lolita guidelines, I think is what people call it this day. Rules. They are guidelines, they're not rules, but I'm just very comfortable in like this silhouette of Lolita and the like very typical expected themes and colors and everything. It makes me happy. I like it as is. There's so much comfort in it. There's so much familiarity in it now. I know that I'm gonna like it. So I'm just always super happy defaulting back to the standard factory setting of Lolita, to be honest. Well, that is all because now we're in 2024 and I can't give you favorites for this year yet. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think of all of these coordinates if you have a favorite. Like I said, I'm really hoping to wear Lolita more this year, be involved more with my local comm. I've hosted a few meetups now, but I'm hoping to continue to host them and do more creative ones. Another big goal of mine is to travel and meet new Lolitas or attend like a Lolita event in another city. I'm not sure if that's gonna happen next year, but it's just in the back of my mind. It would be nice even to go somewhere like Ontario that's like close by, but we'll see. Traveling is not cheap and I've got to recover from Christmas first. Let me know your own goals for the new year in the comments and I will see you in my next video. I hope you have a wonderful day, but until then, bye bye.